Hi! Today I'm going to share all of the stuff I've made since the last time I made a video like this, which is roughly the beginning of this year. I don't want to talk about why I haven't filmed in like 2 months. I'm just gonna show you what I've made. Some of the stuff you've already seen because I've done videos on it. That's that. Okay, where do we start? Let's start here. I knitted this, which is a vest top thing. I got the pattern for it off of Hobie. It turned out looking like this. The shirt I'm wearing underneath is probably not the greatest choice for this, but this is what it turned out looking like. And I'm pretty sure I gauged it a little bit wrong. And I know I misunderstood how to do these things. The pattern overall was very difficult to understand, but I am also very bad at reading Swedish patterns because I read so many of them in English. I'm not quite as well versed in the Swedish variations. In all, I like it still. It was a very interesting make because it's made up of 3 different types of yarn. There is I think it's some type of acrylic, and then there is a mohair, and then there is a tweed mohair type yarn too in it. Or maybe it was a kid silk and a mohair. Either way, there are 3 types of yarn in this, which makes it very fluffy, very hairy. But I think it's still not quite cold enough to wear it, but once it gets cold enough, I'm definitely gonna wear it. One thing I also misunderstood, which I'm happy about misunderstanding, was the length of the body, or the way you were supposed to make it. In the end, me making it too short actually helped me because I ran out of yarn. So it was just a happy little accident. That's the first thing. I made this. Next I have this. This one you might have seen if you watched my videos previously. I made this granny square sweater thing out of yarn in my stash that I didn't really know what to do with because I had 1 skein of this and 1 skein of that. It's not quite as good as I wanted it to be. I think if I was going to make something like this again, the sleeves are too long first and foremost, but that is because it was perfect before I blocked it, and then I blocked it and then it became like this. But I usually just fold it back 1 square like this, and then they're fine. So that solves that problem. It's too short. I think if I was going to make this again, I would just do another row of squares. Looks like this in the back. The collar is a bit wide, but I do think it's partly due to the blocking and partly due to the squares just being bigger than I estimated. I think if I had made them using a smaller hook, maybe 2 or 3 sizes smaller, it would have turned out a bit more the way I wanted. It's incredibly heavy. That is one thing I noticed with this. It's incredibly heavy, and I think it's mostly acrylic. I shouldn't say that. It's probably everything from from wool to acrylic. I know there isn't any cotton in here, but it's probably mostly wool yarn and acrylic. I don't know where I stopped because I got interrupted, but I'm assuming I'm done with this shirt and we're just moving on to the next thing. So I made these, which were the very popular, they were super popular in the beginning of the year. These kitty paw style, fingerless gloves. So this was the first pair I made, and I like this yarn a lot, but they turned out too small and they're kind of one size. So really the only way to adjust the sizing of them is to change the thickness of your yarn and the size of your hook to make them bigger or smaller. And I think this is definitely a merino wool, super soft. It's like a baby clothes type yarn. So I really want to figure out a way. These are very tight though, so I think if I switch to a slightly bigger hook, maybe I could make a pair of these. This is actually the yarn I used for my dress that I showed in my first knitted piece of clothing that I did in the last video. But yes, I had these, and then I made these, which are the ones I've been wearing the most because they're more my size. They're a lot roomier. They're very comfy, very long, but the length is something you can actually adjust. A lot of the time I fold up the cuff on these so they look like that. And these are made using acrylic yarn, Amigo XL or whatever. These were the ones I did my complimentary tutorial on because I struggled so much with the original. I figured I'm probably not the only one, so I made one to help. So that's those gloves. I have this, which is a bag. Might not look like it, but it's a bag. It's also very stretchy because of the yarn I used. I used hooked spaghetti, and to make sure that the straps wouldn't stretch, I actually used, what's it called? Like the type of twine or cord you use for macrame? Macrame? I've never said that word in English. But I just crocheted around, I don't know if I can show you. So inside these, there is just double lined macrame cord. Because this thing is so stretchy, it just helps a lot with making the shoulder straps not stretch out. So that's, here's a shawl. This one is made using, I've forgotten how you pronounce that name. Never mind. I made this shawl. I'm pretty sure the pattern came from Hobby. It was boring to make because of how repetitive the pattern is. I started making like longer and longer distances between everything, so just to be done with it. It was so boring. The pattern was so boring. It was so boring that I actually haven't finished the ends on it, but that's like an easy thing to do. The colors are pretty though. The colors are really pretty, and it's soft. I think, I'm not sure if this yarn is 100% cotton. It's the Whirl. Do I have? Yes, I might have one. Wait. So it's one of these. One of these. And I was right, it wasn't 100% cotton. It was 60 cotton, 40 acrylic. Anyway, so that's that. And then I actually have one more shawl that I finished recently. This one wasn't as bad, but it wasn't fun because I kept messing up the pattern. Now the pattern is adorable. Like, it is so beautiful. This is also a Hobby pattern. It is so pretty. The pattern is called CeylonTea. It's a premium pattern, but it, like, patterns, buy patterns, support creators. Like, I can't say anything else about it. It's really pretty, and the colors are really pretty too. I unintentionally picked the same colors that they used in the pattern, so this is what it looks like. It's really pretty, and I can't wait for it to get just a little bit colder so I can walk around with these things. It's so pretty. I've been wanting to try and make shorts for a while, so I made these. I tried a TCDDIY pattern again, and I hate it. I hate them so much. Her content is great, and she is super creative, but her stuff is not inclusive. She always says you can adjust it to your size, but that doesn't necessarily mean it looks nice. Because these fit me, but this sort of high-rise thing here on the side, it looks terrible. But I did it according to her pattern. It looks terrible. I mostly made these because I had yarn left over from another project, and I wanted to just use it up. They're very warm because it's acrylic yarn, so I don't think I'll wear them until it's colder, but I think they would work as like pajama shorts. And I think you could fix this by just like, well, maybe you, I don't know how you would fix it because there is a decrease that scoops these, but because I had to make mine bigger, it just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. I don't know what to do about it. Other than that, it was an easy pattern to follow. They're very flared. I don't know. They were easy to make. They took me like no time at all. Those shorts were made out of leftovers from this thing because I completely overestimated how much yarn I needed to make it. There we go, finish your sentences. This thing is the, what's his name? The guy from Howl's Moving Castle. It's his coat, but not in pink and blue, in purple and black, because that's what I wanted. I saw the pattern for this floating around, and it turned out pretty nice. I thought I could make the medium. I couldn't. This is the small, because the medium was ginormous. I think that's why I have so much left over in the end now that I think about it, because I was planning to make the medium. It's a very simple design. Like it's double crochet and half double crochet, I think. The pattern, I'm gonna link it because it is so thorough. It is so very, very helpful, and like if you want to make a jacket like this, just just get that pattern because it is so very, 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 very detailed and well put together. That one I can absolutely endorse. The only thing I have left to do for this thing is to add some buttons, and I'm gonna do like hook clasps. This thing is also very warm. It's made using Amigo XL. It's like my favorite standardized yarn. It's just very versatile. So that's a jacket I made. This is, I think this is my most recent make, or finished make anyway. It's a Borlero that you make it kind of like a tube. I deviated from the pattern for reasons, but basically you start on one end and then you just go all the way to the other end and finish it. I made 2 halves and sewed them together. But like the gist of it is that you start with the cuff and then you crochet in the round until you get to a certain point, and then you crochet back and forth, and then you join it again and make the other sleeve. So you have this sort of pocket here in the middle, and then you can just sort of just slip it on. I'm still considering if I want to add a white sort of just ribbing around it, just a short ribbing. I think it would finish it nicely, but at the same time, this looks fine, and I really like it because it's rainbow colored. It's also too warm to be wearing this right now, so I'm just waiting for it to get cold enough for me to wear these things again. Yeah. So this is the thing I made. This is also a Hobie pattern. I bought Hobie Plus. It's like a subscription where you get a bunch of bonus stuff, but you get 3 free premium patterns every month, and I've just been downloading for the heck of it, and I downloaded this, and it was very easy to make. I like it. Lastly, I have this pile. Actually, that one you've seen. And this one is going to be horrible to show because I'm wearing all black and this thing is black. But this is the Lacey granny square. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but it's the lace granny square top thing. I cannot show you properly. I'll link the video, but I did a video completing this, and I did a video explaining the pattern, so you can check those out if you want to see what this actually looks like. This pile I'm going to put up here where you can't see it. This is kind of where I stopped doing videos, in the middle of editing the video for these things, because I just lost interest in everything here in the world. This is a top. I found photos on Pinterest and I deconstructed it so I could make it. But this is what it looks like. I think I can put this on. This is my prototype. It is made using Hobie rainbow cotton. It's actually leftovers from my Tropical Delight Granny Square blanket. Prototype had a few issues, the cups being one thing. But this is what it looks like. So I made this as a test. Turned out looking pretty great. So I made another one, which I filmed. I don't know how to edit it into something comprehensible. So this is the version I made for that video, and it is pretty much the same thing, except for I tried to fix whatever issues I had with the first one, cup size being the main thing, and this thing also flared. It is unfortunately still flaring, but I think I haven't blocked it properly yet, so I think I could fix it using that. I'm not gonna tie the strings, but this is what this one looks like from the front, and this is what it looks like from the back. The lacing is my favorite part because you can lace it as high up as you want. Like, there's no limit. It's just like, it's great because you can get it to fit really well. This one is, God, for this one, I'm pretty sure it's mostly rainbow cotton, except for the purple. Yeah, it's rainbow cotton, and then the purple, I do not know what it is. It is some kind of cotton yarn, probably mercicized, because it's a little bit more shiny than the other ones. So that's that. That was those two. And then during vacation, I started making a bunch of bikini top things because I wanted to find a style that suited me. This one I definitely still want to make a video on, actually the other one too. But this one is made also based on photos. Like I saw photos of a top that was very, very pretty and I wanted to make it. So I did. So basically, you put these like that, put that over your head like that. Actually, I can probably tie it in the front to make it easier for myself. But this is another top that I saw pictures of. Just wanted to see if I could make it by deconstructing the design. There is a pattern for it, and there are probably like, obviously I made this to my size, so if you want to make it for yourself, I highly suggest buying the original creator's pattern to get like proper instructions and stuff like that, because I just made it like, I just looked at the photos and went, okay, this kind of looks like it goes like this, and then I made it. It's actually kind of cute with the bow in the front. I don't really know what it looks like in the back, but this is what it turned out to be. This is also made using Hobie rainbow cotton because it is apparently the only thing I own. These two colors are also like leftovers from my giant Tropical Delight blanket because I had so much yarn when I was done. And lastly, am I lying? No, this is the last thing I can remember making anyway. This mermaid top. I have one version in a different type of yarn in the making. This is the prototype still, and the one I showed you before is also a prototype. So this one definitely have a bunch of things that needs to be fixed, sizing being one of the major things. The shoulder straps are obviously too far out, but I also think that is a product of the fact that the cups are too stretchy, so it just needs to go in more like this. Needs to be tighter. You can see how much the yarn stretches here in the center. So there's a lot of fixing I need to do to this one to make it more wearable. If I had more tits, it would definitely make it easier, but I don't. I think the straps could sit out here if they were shorter, but as you can see, they turned out a bit long. So that is that. Let me just get this off. And I just want to show you what I'm working on right now too, because I don't know. It's going well. Is that a good excuse? My hair probably looks wild because I've been pulling shirts on and off. So this is what I'm working on right now. This is a raglan. Raglan? Never said that word out loud. It's a sweater. It's a cropped sweater. Let me just pull up the shoulders. And I love it. It's kind of amazing. The pattern for it is great, and I'm gonna link that below too. It's made by Jessica Mead, maybe that's how you say it. Either way, it's super size inclusive, all the way from XS to 5XL. It's worked top down. So as of right now, I have not sewn in a single thread. Like, I have not attached any pieces to anything, and I will not be sewing anything on. You just like, you work from the shoulders down, and then you do the ribbing, and then you do the ribbing around the collar. And now I'm working on my first sleeve. Obviously you can use cable knitting needles for that, but I prefer sock knitting needles because it's just easier for me. And then you just work out the sleeves, and it's so easy. It's so easy to make, and she has like videos and stuff to show techniques she's using, and it's just wonderful. I love it. The yarn I'm using is by, we call it Cewec, C-E-W-E-C. And this one is called Tibet, which is, it's yak wool among other things, and it's like chain knitted. I don't know, it's not traditional like spun yarn. It's so soft and it's so light. I love it. And do I have anything else in the works that I'm forgetting? Doesn't really count, but I'm making granny squares out of whatever Amigo XL I have left, which is only a few skeins. I'm not 100% sure what I'm making with those. I'm thinking I'm making another sweater. Yeah, I can show you too. Like, these are the squares. They're full of dog hair, of course. But these are the squares. I've done 2 full colors so far. I'm working on purple right now because I'm going to use the black to attach the squares together, much like I did with the other granny square sweater thing I did. We'll see what happens with that. Those were all of my current finished pieces and my current in the works pieces, I guess. I don't have much else to add. Being creative is hard, being an adult is hard, finding time to do anything that is fun is hard. So I'm just going to try and make videos whenever I feel like it, and try to get them out to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have questions about any of the pieces, feel free to ask. I will try to link as many of the patterns as possible down below, or at least name them so you can search for them yourself if linking isn't possible. And until next time, have a great day.